So let's be real, whether you are homeschooling by choice or you are forced into it due to various circumstances, it is not always easy. So today I'm going to share 5 tips with you that I've learned over the last couple of years. Hello, if you are new here, we are a family of 5 and we travel full-time in our RV. We have a goal of seeing as many national parks as we possibly can, as well as hitting lots of other fun things and having plenty of adventures along the way. But if you have only started following our channel more recently, you may not know that my channel originally started when I began homeschooling a little over 2 years ago, and it was a way for me to just show what we were doing and really just a way for me to have a creative place to put things out there. The focus of our channel is no longer primarily homeschooling. We do still homeschool our kids. We road school them, is what it's often called. But like I said, we travel around full time. If you are a homeschooling parent or someone who's interested in travel or what full-time travel looks like as a family of 5, we have an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old. We would love to have you go ahead and join our channel, so hit subscribe. So when we very first started homeschooling, I knew nothing about it. I have made a lot of mistakes in homeschooling, and to be honest, our homeschooling style has changed a lot since we started traveling full time. So whether you're choosing to homeschool because it's something that you want to do, or if you're being forced into it, especially if you're watching it soon after I put this video up due to coronavirus or other school closures, it's not easy and it can be really stressful. Even if you've been doing homeschool for a long time, there are still really stressful moments and stressful days. So I'm hoping to just share a few things that I've learned along the way that will hopefully make the transition a little bit easier. The first thing, and this one is one that I think so many people do, is don't try to do school at home. You are not the public school system. It's almost impossible to recreate the school environment they were having at home. And if you're choosing to homeschool, you may be homeschooling because you don't want that environment. And so it's easy for you to let that go. But if you're kind of forced into homeschooling, you might feel like you have to have, this is when they had language arts, this is when they had math. I need to do language arts from 10:15 to 10:51, just like they did in school. And that is not the case. You will stress yourself out. So doing school at home is very different than doing school in a school building. You don't have to mimic exactly what they were doing. It's really easy to get caught up in thinking, well, they were in school from 8 o'clock until 3 o'clock, so that means I need to have them sitting down and doing school for 7 hours as well. It's just not the case. It's not going to take you as long. They're not walking from classroom to classroom, not doing all of those crowd control things and such. So it's just not going to take you 7 hours. You are really going to find yourself frustrated if you're trying to sit down for 7 hours a day with your kid doing school. Which really leads us into the second one, which is find your rhythm. Find what works for your family. It's going to be really easy when you first get started to scour the internet, scour YouTube, looking for everybody's schedule. What are they doing for the day? How should I be doing this? And that's really good to get ideas from, but you just have to find out what works for your family. That's why we as parents homeschool, is we're trying to find something that works for our family. Whether it's because public school wasn't working or we were forced out of it, or because of scheduling, we're making school work for us. So find out what works for your family and do that. You're not doing it wrong. It's super easy to get caught up in thinking, I am not doing enough, look how much they're doing, or, oh my goodness, I've got my kid doing all of this stuff. Just do what works for your family. Take inspiration from other people, but it's a lot of trial and error. So my next one is that you're still the parent. So you're teaching them, but you've been teaching them their whole lives, right? You are teaching them to walk, you're teaching them how to feed themselves, you're teaching them to clean their rooms. You're not new at teaching your child. So don't feel like you're putting on a completely different hat and you're becoming this teacher. You've been helping them with their homework this whole time anyway. You've been teaching them. So just don't lose sight of that. You're still their same parent that's been teaching them their whole lives. You just may be a little bit more involved on the formal education side now. Okay, play. Honestly, you probably already know this, but sitting down and formally doing work is important. It's important to have that formal education, but they're gonna learn when you're playing Monopoly. Honestly, Monopoly is a good math day. This is a really good chance for you guys to learn what works for them educationally. Maybe you didn't realize that they don't hate math, they just don't like the formal process. So sit down, play Legos together, and come up with some sort of math activity based on the age of your kid. Depending on the age of your kid, sit down, play Legos, count out the colors. You can do fractions with Legos as you're building something. Make it fun. Both of you will end up enjoying this way more if you do that. The last one is more so for the parent, but don't be afraid to involve a lot of coffee. I enjoy drinking coffee all the time anyway, but sit down, have a cup of coffee before you get started. Prepare, take a deep breath. Remember that if you lose your patience or things go crazy, no one's going to learn and everyone's just going to be frustrated. So take a little bit of time before you actually get started with the educational part of your day. Take a minute for yourself. So maybe that's coffee, beforehand or during or after. But whatever it is that you need to do to calm yourself and get ready for the day. I have a video that I actually already have filmed and edited and ready to go, talking about how the coronavirus is affecting us as a full-time family. But what's funny is, as I was editing that video, I was looking at my analytics and noticed that a lot of homeschool videos were suddenly getting a lot of views, which prompted me to realize that there are so many parents out there that are being forced into homeschooling and that are a little bit lost and are looking for help. So I wanted to go ahead and push this out first so I could put some helpful information out there. So the other video talking about what we're doing and how we're handling this as a full-time traveling family, that one will be up next. Until then, stay healthy and we will see you soon.